Please join me in welcoming Stephen Clark as our Keynote and Wall Lake family member tonight as he exhorts and encourages us to live out Dr. King's vision of unity, change agency, and social action. Wall Lake Schools, help me welcome him.
So I had said, so anything else I can say about you? And I said, just tell everybody you met me and found me to be incredibly engaging. So she did. I want a couple additional recognitions here. John Cellino's our 2020 photographer over here. Virtually every story that you see on the air that is a Detroit 2020 story, John Cellino has shot it. I always like to make sure I recognize him because otherwise he can make me look really bad. I'd also like to thank Glenn Barr, my executive producer. I know you already got one recognition there, Glenn, but you really deserve it. This initiative that I'll talk about, Detroit 2020, really is his baby. And he's the one that was given the wheel of that initiative and has driven it just right down the middle. So everything you see comes to you because of Glenn's efforts and his partner, Donnella Crawford, who is not with us this evening. And finally, I'd like to recognize my wife, Lorraine Clark, who came with me tonight. Thank you, Lorraine. And she is and if possible, she's better known here than I am. She was a parent volunteer and eventually a paid member of the Wall Lake Central music program, helping with the marching band and the color guard program that went on to attain worldwide status. So she spent many hours here on this stage with the guard and in the gyms here practicing with the guards. And as she's bugged most of you people here in any kind of position of authority for gym time. So you know who I'm talking about. And also Dr. Gutman, I'd like to thank him also because I was afraid that he wasn't going to talk to me tonight because the last time we had an appointment was for an interview for a Detroit 2020 story, and I stood him up on the interview at the last minute. Because I got another interview I had to go to, and fortunately he was understanding when I told him I had to go to the White House to interview President Obama. So I did indeed stand you up for that. I am sorry, but we will do it again. I have a dream. Those 4 words are credited really with igniting America's civil rights movement. Martin Luther King Jr., of course, spoke those words at the foot of Abraham Lincoln's statue in Washington, D.C. The date was August 28, 1963. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that Dr. King actually spoke those same words a little bit earlier than that. He spoke them in a kind of a dry run, a dress rehearsal 2 months earlier in Detroit, Michigan, Cobo Hall. So I thought as I refer to the speech, I'm actually going to quote from that version of the speech, which is slightly different, but I think it's just appropriate since those words actually were really born here in the Detroit area. As I explain what Dr. King and what a television station in Detroit, WXYZ TV, have in common. I have a dream this afternoon that my 4 little children will not come up in the same young days that I came up within, but they'll be judged on the basis of the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I have a dream this afternoon that one day, right here in Detroit, Negroes will be able to buy a house or rent a house anywhere that their money will carry them, and they will be able to get a job. So Martin Luther King Jr. dreamed of a place where a man is judged not by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. So clearly, Dr. King's dream was to unify. And in his speech, he inspired others to act upon his dream. All right, as you guys came in this evening, many of you were handed a wristband. Is this one right here, this blue wristband? Can you hold your hand up if you got one of these? Great. So I want you to, if you haven't seen this, show it to people around you, because it's mainly the young people we gave this to. You see the 3 words on it, and I've worn mine, by the way. Glenn gave me mine, I think, last May in Mackinac, right after we had them made. I put this on last May in Mackinac. I have not taken it off because I truly believe in these words. Unify, inspire, act. So here's the connection. Martin Luther King, of course, had a big, powerful voice, both figuratively and literally. He had a large following. and he had the ability to inspire people to act. So Dr. King was able to unify, inspire, and act, the three words on this wristband. Now, like Dr. King, WXYZ TV has a very big voice, literally and figuratively. We have a very large following, and we have the ability to inspire people to act. Now, unfortunately, we, as a TV station, and so many TV stations across the country, really haven't been using that power that was entrusted to us to the best of our ability. Now, sure, we keep you informed. We tell you what the news is. We give you tomorrow's weather. We tell you who won the hockey game. But really, we haven't been all that good at using that big, powerful voice of ours to dig deeper into the social conditions that kind of led to those stories that we talked about. We will tell you somebody got shot, but we will not look into the conditions that perhaps made that shooting happen. And we certainly really haven't been using our voice to inspire positive action in our community. We've been content telling you what happened, but we haven't tried very hard to steer the events, the things that happened. Now, that all changed a year ago at our station, at Channel 7, with an ambitious, groundbreaking initiative we call Detroit 2020. I'd like you to take a look.
It's the hope that unites us.
A blank canvas. You can really do anything in Detroit.
The inspiration that keeps us strong.
I would like to see myself raising a family here in Detroit.
There are a lot of opportunities. There is an upside.
I've seen a lot of people coming together.
It's working for change that will shape our future.
We're here, we're still a power, and we still have the ability to get back on our feet.
I think we have a lot of potential. We just have to exploit it.
It's Channel 7 on your side and by your side in an initiative we're calling Detroit 2020. Beginning in 2011, we'll look forward to 2020.
I'm very optimistic.
I am optimistic.
Optimistic.
It's our commitment to put it all on the table.
Decisions now are critical. I have all this energy. I am very committed to this community.
We'll marshal the full resources of Channel 7 to enlighten, inspire, and hold leaders accountable.
When we project an image, we want to project a good image, a healthy image.
We'll use the internet and social media to build a community of people who care.
We're all from the same area, and we all have the same kind of hopes and aspirations.
It's time to not only expose the problems, but to help find solutions.
So much negativity around our city, and maybe if we just all came together, we can get more things accomplished and have a brighter light.
It's time for all of us to roll up our sleeves.
If we can hang in, I think we have a good future.
I can't picture myself living anywhere else.
It's the city. It's the suburbs. This is Detroit 2020. Unify, inspire, act.
So you can see, like Dr. King, we have a dream too. And we have that powerful voice, and we have the ability to inspire people to do something about that dream, to act. But also, like Dr. King, even 40 years later, we find ourselves running up against the same obstacles, standing between us and our dream to unify, inspire, and act. That obstacle is race. As my colleague Diana Lewis explains, it's really not as black and white as it seems.
The Detroit area is rich in ethnic and religious diversity, but what could be a great strength for the region has often been viewed as a weakness. Detroit 2020 spent several weeks looking at race and how it has shaped our community. Its appearance may be bright and welcoming, but its history is dark and shameful. This wall near 8 Mile in Wyoming was designed to keep people apart.
It was built to separate the white from the black.
But today, the concrete structure provides a backdrop for Burdette Rochelle's garden. He has lived with the wall for decades. He knows its past, but accepts it as part of the present.
Didn't bother me one way or the other. I didn't care. But I like the wall.
So if neighbors can embrace this symbol of racial division, does that mean race relations are improving? That's one of the questions we try to answer in our Detroit 2020 reports.
Caucasian?
I'm African American.
We decided to start with the basics. What exactly is race? Wayne State anthropologist Dr. Jacqueline Harden says, biologically, we are all the same race.
It doesn't exist in a biological, scientific sense because race technically means species.
I'm human. How about that?
But we still use race to separate us. Some say the separate SMART and D-Dot bus systems are an example.
One of the underlying issues is always going to be the issue of race.
We looked at the Chaldean American community in Detroit.
Chaldeans are from the Arab world but are not Arabs. And what defines Chaldeans is their language. Chaldeans speak Aramaic.
And we talked to our Arab American neighbors.
What we're trying to do is to dispel stereotypes about our community, trying to preserve its history, and involve the community in telling its story.
There was advice about explaining race to children.
They can be any color, so I guess really doesn't really matter what color you are.
Our mission here today is to sit there and take people with varying different opinions about Detroit and the suburbs and show them around.
And we found 13 suburbanites who seldom, if ever, went into the city of Detroit.
It's not some place I want to take my kids.
We left the area because of the crime rates in Wayne County.
We took them on a bus tour to give them a better sense of what they had been missing.
Didn't know any of that was going on.
By the end of the 3-hour excursion, attitudes had changed.
It's definitely making an impression, a good impression.
I have a different perspective of the city.
6 people spend 60 minutes in a conversation for change.
Let's get started by introducing tonight's guests.
And finally, we invited representatives of different religious and ethnic groups to join us in a conversation for change. At the end of it all, one thing our panel agreed on: this was just a start.
My favorite line of that story was, biologically speaking, we're all the same race. Doesn't that mess with the haters, huh? Now, we've discovered through doing these stories here that even the most pessimistic among us really agree with the basic premise that we need to change our attitudes towards race. We need to unify our suburbs and our city if we are going to survive and thrive. The problem is, how do we do that? Dr. King did it through the courage of his convictions. He kept at it with relentless action. He practiced what he preached, and of course it cost him. And I have to tell you, Channel 7 also pays a price for what we do here, because not everybody agreed with Dr. King, not everybody agrees with Channel 7. Some people are fine with the status quo. They want us to just talk about the shootings and talk about the weather and talk about the Red Wings. Now, fortunately, though, our station has leaders who, like Dr. King, understand that it's just the right thing to do. Don't let the fear of the consequences steer you from doing the right thing. So we have taken to heart Martin Luther King's dream. We believe with an initiative like Detroit 2020 that we have followed his lead and that we are acting on his dream, which brings me to the third word on that blue bracelet of our motto: unify, inspire, act. With every story we air, every story we post on our website, every community meeting like this one right here, we challenge you to act, to find that little thing or that big thing you can do in your community to make that community just a little bit better. The Walled Lake Schools Multicultural Committee has partnered with Reading Works, as we heard a few moments ago. Students and parents can volunteer to become reading tutors, and nearly 15% of adults in Oakland County are functionally illiterate. You can act to change that. You can start tomorrow. You can act to change that. Something simpler: shovel your neighbor's driveway. Simple. You can make a little change. Help keep your neighborhood park cleaner. We do that with 2020. We actually go into the city parks and we help fix those up. We'll do more of those. We'll be asking for your help. Fox Run is here this evening. I was talking to them a moment ago. Just a little aside, they said at Fox Run they announced that I was going to be here, and they got 30 people to come out here tonight, and I just told them if they hadn't announced I was going to be here, they could have gotten 50. But I was pleased to learn they actually have a scholarship program at Fox Run for the young high school students who work there, become eligible for a scholarship. That's doing something, that's acting to make the community a little bit better. Now, as I mentioned, Channel 7 has a big voice. We have a large reach. We have the ability to inspire people to act through Detroit 2020, and we're using it. I wanted to show you a couple of examples of the things that we as a TV station have done in the spirit of making Dr. King's dream come true.
When Detroit 2020 put out a call to action this past year, you certainly responded. We called one event a bust up, the other a build up.
The hundreds of people were unified, inspired, and they acted. WXYZ's back channel Twitter family joined me in a fight to bust blight on the west side of Detroit. An abandoned general store was torn down. And volunteers helped toss away remains of a burned out eyesore.
Feeling this intense energy that's been, exploding lately. It's great.
From the bust up to the build up. Detroit 2020 teamed up with Habitat for Humanity Detroit to build walls for Habitat homes on the east side.
This is my way of coming out and trying to give back because I know what it's like to struggle.
Overall, 125 people, including students from Wayne State, joined Alicia Smith and members of the WXYZ team, picked up hammers, and built the walls.
Detroit 2020 is about unifying people, inspiring people, and getting people to act, and this is the ultimate form of action.
Unify, inspire, and act, and I hope I've inspired you at least a little bit here tonight. But now it's time to act. That's the price of admission. This year we're going to have events that we'd like you to be a part of. We want you to join us in our mission to make Detroit a better place to live. We can't do it without you. I don't care how big Channel 7 is, we just can't do it without you. We have to have those army of volunteers that we got for those two stories that you saw. Those people are all volunteers who put up their own time and in a lot of cases their own money to help us make Detroit a little bit better place. And by making Detroit a better place, we make Oakland County, we make Commerce, we make Walled Lake better places. We're going to let you know what kind of events we have going on in 2012. So all you have to do is watch Channel 7 all the time. Turn it on early in the morning, leave it on till late at night, put it on a timer. Just kidding. We do ask you, though, to watch for those Detroit 2020 reports. It's a different kind of television. I think you'll be surprised. If you haven't seen the stories yet, you will be surprised when you see them. I get a complaint so often from people who say, why don't you do good news? And I say, hey, you're not watching. We are. Detroit 2020. We'll put them on our website, too. You can actually go to DetroitTwenty20.com, and I think you can see virtually everything we have put on the air, more than 100 stories last year. And I think we'll probably do, if Glenn doesn't keel over and die, we'll do more this year. We'd like you to check those out. Check us out on Facebook also. We have some 4,000 likes right now, and the kids know what I'm talking about with that. We invite you to like us also, and follow us on Twitter also. Because right here, Glenn wrote this part of my script here. He said, many times the best ideas come from you, and I'm going to edit that. Virtually every time the best ideas come from you. We think we're pretty smart there at Channel 7, but you guys, you got us beat. If you have an idea for an event, just let us know what it is. Let us know how you can make a difference in the community, and then we will help you. Because that's really what it's about. It's more you, not you helping us. It's us helping you because we have that big voice. We can inspire people to act. So let us know what that idea is. We'd love to come out and help you unify, inspire, and act. That's our dream. Thank you.